Okay. Um, so we are going to do things a little bit differently for the demo today. Because we've been pushing towards V2.0, we thought it might be better to do a format like a mock user study or user onboarding call of the whole V2.0 platform rather than just talk about kind of the front end versus back end of the exact same feature set.
We're gonna try to make it fun this time. How about that?
So we'll make it a little bit fun, and then we can kind of turn off role playing mode, halfway through, and then go into more like engineering specifics if we want to do that. Sound good to everyone? Okay, so I think Ryan and you and Jing are going to be the Storytell CX and kind of end representation, respectively, and I will play the role of a HR recruiter.
Yours, yes.
I think
Yeah.
Ryan is CX, yeah.
For the next 30 minutes, yeah. All right, let's onboard Connor.
All right, so I'm going to share my screen here. I don't know anything about AI, so you guys are going to have to really walk me through this.
All right, well, hey, Connor, great to meet you.
Great to meet you too.
Pretty cool that I can also just reach over to his computer and touch anything if I need to have you click a button or
Yeah,
whatever,
like just hit enter, just hit escape.
I don't even need to annotate. I can just click the button for you. Okay, so before we start, would love to hear about what you think about AI, your use cases, maybe some functions of your job that you'd like to automate or make easier with AI. And also we should turn on Buoyant as Erica just did me.
Yeah, so short answer is I know very little about AI. A lot of my colleagues are using it to kind of make themselves more efficient from what I've heard. The thing that I'm working on right now, for example, is I'm trying to hire for a customer experience role. So I've got a stack of resumes that I'm trying to sift through and understand kind of the pros and cons of different candidates. And just curious if that's something that AI can help me with.
Awesome. Yeah, we can definitely help you. And I think this is a great use case for our new work streams that we've built as well. So we'd be happy to show you that.
Perfect.
Yeah. First step here is let's have you make an account.
Okay. I just type my name in. Do I need to put a last name? I don't think so.
You want to do like test?
Yeah, sure. Let's do this. Sign up.
Yep. Click sign up. And then you should be redirected. Oh, you want to refresh it? I think there's like some. All right, cool. Okay, yeah, so this is the platform. This is our dashboard. And right now you don't have any work streams. So obviously it says you don't have any yet, and you can create one. But just want to give a quick overview of what work streams are. So we've been hearing a lot over and over that people have, maybe 2 or 3 use cases or 2 or 3 tasks that they get done every day. And work streams is a great way to try to automate those. So it's kind of like a repetitive task that someone can get done with AI. So for this, we're actually just going to have you create a work stream. So you can, first of all, click the green button there to create a new one.
Okay.
And it should just spin one up for you really quick and then navigate you there.
Cool. Okay.
Cool. And then for this work stream, I think you said you have a bunch of resumes that you want to upload and maybe like chat with it to get more information about the different candidates that you have for your job. So if you go up to where it says new work stream and click that, you can actually rename this work stream to whatever you want. So maybe in this case, we'll use like job candidate search, or if you know what the job role or title actually is, you can include that in the title as well.
Let's do this one. Okay.
Oh, you're taking my job. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and then either click the save button or just hit enter, and it should save the name for that work stream.
Okay, saving.
Cool. All right, now you have that work stream. The next thing you want to do is upload a bunch of content. So I think you said you have resumes that you want to use. So maybe if you just click that upload button on the right.
Does it matter which one I use here?
So they do different things, but for this, it doesn't really matter. I would actually say you can click that one that you have.
This one?
Yep. So, yep. And then you can, I'll let you kind of
click around here.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's some of my files. So let's do this.
That's the one you want. Great. Okay. And you can see that those have uploaded. And it looks like they're all done. So you can click done. And and nothing happens. Okay, cool. Oh, there we go. Okay. So it looks like it just took a second to get them all in the system. Also, when you click done, we kind of refresh them. Might just taking a second, but yeah, you can see those two are processing, and I believe the other three are done. So yeah, now what we can do is we can actually add those to your work stream. So the difference between those two upload buttons is that if you click the one on the top, it would automatically upload to your work stream. For the sake of the demo, I just had Connor click the second one so that we can show how you can also add content from your account that's already there into a work stream. So Connor, now that those are all updated and uploaded to your account, let's select all of them. So right now you're going to have to click each one individually. And then you'll click that blue button that says add to included collection. There we go. So now they're all attached to this work stream. And now we can start chatting with it. So you can start asking some questions about the content. And I see that you're playing around with the accordions down below. The way we have the UI right now is if there's content in the work stream you're currently viewing, you won't see it down below in the all content section because we didn't want to show it twice. We didn't want any confusion there, but obviously we're still playing around with UX and the UI and how that all works. So if that is confusing that it's not showing up in both places, then that's a change we can make.
So it can only be in one of these places, correct?
So correct. Technically, what you've uploaded there, those candidate files are in your account and they are still included down there, but we just filtered it out because they're showing up above.
Mm-hmm.
So if you created a new work stream and didn't add any content, they would show down below.
Would can I use them in other work streams if I have, if I want to use like the same candidate resume across two different work streams, can I do that?
Sure, yeah, so actually we can do that right now. If you go up and click the new button next to the work stream's title, again, it's going to spin one up. And then you can see they're down there below, and maybe you only want to select like two of them and add them to this work stream, so you could do that.
Right, okay, so let's say 1 and 2, and then this blue one, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So now I have. Okay. Okay, cool. So there's 2.
Yep. Okay, so if you want to go back to the original work stream that we were.
That's this here.
Yep, with all 5 of those. All right, cool. And I think what I heard you say originally was that you want to learn more about the job candidates that you have. So, obviously there's like 5 resumes, and a great way to do that would be to chat with this content.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a blue button up in the top right corner. That's the chat icon. So you can click that, and that opens up your chat interface there. So this is where you could ask any questions that you have about the content you've uploaded, and hopefully Storytell will come back with a great answer. So yeah, ask away any questions that you have about candidates. Candidate 4.
Sarah Brown. Perfect. That's the one I was going to hire anyway. So
amazing. All right. Well, glad that Storytell can help you out with that. Also, you'll notice that there are some footnotes after each sentence. So if you got an answer that you were confused about, or you wanted to know the original source, you should be able to click that and it will show the original content, like where it actually got that answer from.
Interesting. Okay. Sarah Brown. We know where she lives. Very cool. Okay.
Awesome. And just to step back from the demo really quick, we just shipped the footnote Storytell stuff this morning. So I know the UI looks a little bit different than V1, but we'll be changing that in the future.
Ryan, my name is Jody. I'm Connor's assistant, and I just noticed that, first of all, this is amazing. I can't wait to use this, and I think Connor and I are going to become like 10x as productive. So it's really cool. I just noticed there was this table view, and I was curious to know what that does.
Sure. Yeah. So Connor, if you want to click the table view, it's right now it doesn't do anything, but it just shows the content you've uploaded in a table view. So Connor, actually, if you can click the arrow button next to the blue chat button over on the far right, that will collapse the chat. Yep. and then you can see the full table. So this is just a different view to see the content that you've uploaded to the work stream. And then if you had any down below, that would be a table as well. Like I said, it doesn't do anything right now, but in the future, we're going to add the same functionality that we have for how the content looks on the other view. So selecting the content, removing it from the work stream, adding it, all that kind of stuff. You'll be able to do that from the table view as well.
Mm-hmm. I also noticed there's a couple other things that we haven't talked about. One is this thing that's a collection. What exactly does that do? And then there's also a button here or something that says share.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Yuan Jing, would you like to tell Connor about collections and the share?
Collection is basically just a bunch of like item files which you just can include as a collection. I think for now the collection works as like just a set of your files, and then yeah, so you can try to select some of the files to merge them into collection.
Right, so that's to pause on this demo real quick. The collections are tags from V1. And in this iteration of the UI, just this first version, we don't have the ability to create new collections.
Yeah.
So if you sign in with your V1 account, you'll see all the tags there that you create in V1. If it's a brand new user, they're not going to see any, and they're not going to have the ability to create collections right now, but that's something engineering is working on.
Is that some feature for the 2.0 or 2.1?
That'll be 2.1.
Okay, got it. Yeah. So and the share this in the future is something you can just take the further action on your prompt. You just create a prompt and then you can just share it by email and by Slack. So yeah, I think that's how it is designed as of now.
Yep. Connor, if you want to click the share tab. So Yuan Jing explained what we're going to be building in the future, but for now, we just have like a coming soon screen. So yeah, we're really looking forward to building the automations feature where you can just upload content, run it through a prompt, and then share it out automatically to your colleagues. I think Connor's coworker Erica also had a question. And she just yeah, go ahead.
Well, this is gonna be a little awkward because I'm actually your coworker, Ryan.
Oh, right, yeah. Wait, we all work for the same company.
I know. I'm the AI expert, just to
Oh,
remind everyone.
right.
And I thought I could just teach Connor a little bit about something called few shot learning to
Mhm.
see if you get a better response.
Sure, I would love to learn about that.
Okay, so, and I was gonna drop it into chat, but it looks like it's gonna be too long. So luckily, we're all in the same Slack workspace. So I'm just gonna drop a prompt into product and tag you. But essentially what I've done here is, for some reason, I have your job description of the person that you're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
And just a prompt that includes that job description to see if we get a better, or just what happens with the results there. If you try that in the chat with this collection.
Okay, so I'm going back. I have to go back to content to chat. Is that right?
Technically, no, the chat is actually always there. So you can see that icon on the far right. You could click it again and it would open back up.
Okay.
And then when you switch between content and share, it will persist. So it should stay there the whole time.
Cool. Okay. So I'm copying this from Slack. And I'm just going to paste this in. And maybe we can read through it so everyone sees what's going on. Based on this job description, rate the candidates in the order of how well suited they are for this role.
I did just notice I have some brackets in there, so I don't know if.
These here.
Yeah, we need to remove those.
Brackets are actually okay. It's the squiggly brackets that sometimes cause problems, but I need to get rid of that. Okay, I'm gonna hit go here. That's this button, right?
Yep.
So we've given a description of the job candidates and some skills, it looks like, that we would like to hire for.
Yeah, would you say those line up with what you're looking for?
Yeah, I would say definitely line up with what I'm looking for.
And Connor, as your assistant, my eyes are just failing a little bit. Sadly, is there a way to to drag that chat to make it a little bit wider?
That would be wonderful. Does that exist?
Maybe not yet.
We built it. I'm not sure where it is, but
Okay,
we should have that
something's
ability.
we should. Something's also hanging here. Sorry,
Wow, really good use
mid
of your
demo
network staff
debugging.
there.
Quite the, what it
Okay.
here.
Maybe
Well,
maybe as Connor is debugging that, I've got a question for you, Ryan, as his assistant. Connor's always asking me like, who should we hire? Who should we hire? He's like on the calls with all these candidates, and I'm the one that has to do the heavy lifting to actually like give him the answers that he's looking for. It's pretty exciting to be able to use Storytell to make that job easier. And I'm just curious to understand if I like have a question that I ask over here in this chat, and then I like the answer that I'm getting, it would be really cool to be able to like automate that in this work stream. Is there any sort of like what's maybe the roadmap to be able to take the answers that are happening in this chat and then like put them into the work stream? Because it would be really cool to just like be able to add more candidates to the collection and just have the answer automatically pop up on the other side. Is there anything like that that's being considered?
Yeah, that's actually funny that you said that because that's totally on our roadmap. So in future iterations of the UI, we're planning to have a step in the middle in between content and share here. So it would be like somewhere in here. And that will be like a prompt step. So if you figure out a prompt that you like you said in the chat, you kind of play around with it, get the exact answer that you like, you'd be able to add a prompt step in here. And then the content that you upload here in the content block would be ran through that prompt and then shared out via email or a webhook, like maybe to a Slack channel or something like that. So yeah, that's totally on our roadmap, and the engineering team is working on that and be in a future iteration of the UI.
That's super cool. One more question, because now I'm getting really excited about this idea that I can build more complex work streams. We also have all these Zoom recordings of CX people doing their jobs, and it would be pretty incredible to be able to like create another content block with maybe like examples of what a great CX person looks like, and then ask about like who would be the best candidate from here based on what great looks like here. Is that kind of thing going to be possible?
Yeah, it is. And I get what you're saying. This step is kind of almost like a filter step, right? Where you have
Mm-hmm.
all the resumes, and then that job description is the filter that you run that content through. And then even after that, again, you ask a prompt and then share the results anywhere you want. So yeah, it's amazing
Yeah,
that our minds are thinking so similarly about the product here. So
that's
it's
cool.
great that you
That's
want.
exciting. This feels really powerful. I've got a lot more things that I'd love to be able to automate so I can do my job better for Connor. So I'll ask you more questions later, but this looks really cool.
All right, cool.
yeah, I've got a question as well. It looks like my previous message I had sent isn't there anymore. Do those just disappear every time, or where do those?
Currently, the chat history is disabled as of now. I will see if I can enable it like from 4.2.0. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's on the engineering side. We just have to connect it. Haven't done that yet. I think if you click the blue button with the arrow pointing up next to the send, the chat send button, you do have a history of the messages that you've sent there, which I'm not seeing the long one. So
You can just press the arrow up and arrow down to like get chat history, I guess. Yeah, just like press the keyboard. Yeah.
Ooh,
Right.
the nice little feature you got there.
Here is the one that I asked before.
Was it having a problem with the big one?
Yeah, there was something, it failed on the chat stream call with the big one, so I need to dig into that, but I'm not going to do it here.
Okay. All right, cool.
But also we can demo the question library a little bit, I guess also.
Oh yeah.
Also, what if before we do that, what if I no longer am considering one of these candidates and I
Right.
don't want them included? How would I go about removing content?
Yeah, that's a great question.
Deleting it.
Yeah, I would, collapse the chat, perfect. And then you can select the content in the work stream there. So whichever ones you don't want anymore.
Sorry, this one Not hired.
And then that red button just popped up next to the upload button, and you can click remove from included. And then it gets removed like that. So now only those 4 candidates are being considered in your questions.
Okay. Very cool.
I had a question about something I'm back to just an observer, the
Mhm.
demo. There was copy that said, let's see, anchor chat next to content or something like that.
Oh yeah, probably if you hover over,
Yeah.
actually,
I was wondering what that meant.
so the blue button, Connor, yeah, if you click that. So that will put it next to the content view instead of on top. So Connor, if you click it again, it's kind of like the popped out view where there's, it's currently going over the UI, and then if you anchor it, then it's next to it instead.
Does that persist across? Okay,
Yeah, it
any step that you're in.
Yep. And yeah, we'll fix the drag feature that should.
This is supposed to be draggable here.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
It's draggable, but somehow I think that it's that covered by the like Storytell layer. So I will just move left a little bit, should be good. So I'll fix it afterwards. Yeah.
Okay.
What do these buttons do?
So you have 2 options there. It's kind of like the menu for the work stream that we have right now. You can
Okay.
either edit the name, which you've already done, so it just kind of pops you into that same functionality, or you can delete a work stream. So let's say you hire this candidate, they are great at their job, all that stuff. You want to delete this work stream, you can do that up there with the 3 dots. So yeah, maybe you want to delete the one we didn't really use. You can click that, click delete, and then delete it like that.
And this is
Oh.
super exciting as a power user of V1, the original smart chat that Storytell shipped. I'm just curious to understand how this new workstream version compares to V1. So I guess what I'm kind of like observing is that this green box is in the original version, whatever tags or groups I'm chatting with, that's kind of the same thing as this green box. It's like the active content that I'm talking to. And then this is the raw content. And then if I group it together in a collection, you were saying that's kind of like a tag. And so I think I understand that. What I'm curious about is sometimes I love to talk to all my content in the original version of Smart Chat. It's really powerful to be able to talk to all the knowledge. And I'm just wondering, like, how would I do something like that in this version? And then the other thing is in the original version, there's a way to manage the content, like a content manager where I'm uploading new content or I'm tagging it. And I'm just wondering what your thoughts are about how would I just like manage my content here?
Right, so this version of the UI does not have a way to chat with all of your content unless you go down below the green box and select every single piece of content that you've uploaded. But in the future, we're planning to add a step in the work stream right here, which would be the all my content step. So you would actually just be able to drag that this little block into the steps right here into the work stream, and it would automatically include all your content. So you wouldn't have to select every single one and add it to the work stream.
Cool. So I could like basically make a work stream, which is like chat with all my content, and I just make a work stream and like pin it on the left or something, and that's effectively chatting with everything. That's
Yep.
I think what I'm hearing you say. Is that right? Okay, cool. And
Totally.
then in the original version, I can also talk to foundational knowledge from the large language models. So like the world's knowledge, I think is what I saw you call it. Is there going to be a way for me to do that in this workstream version where maybe I don't want to talk to my content, I want to talk to everything that OpenAI knows about something?
Right. Again, not in this version of the UI, but we'll have a step in the work stream right here, same thing, where you can drop it in and it would say all world's knowledge or all Chat GPT 3.5 knowledge or Claude knowledge or something like that. So
Just to clarify, there actually is a workaround to do this if you wanted to, given the scheme, and it's just to have no content in the content step.
oh,
So if we should probably like when you have this configuration. So if I remove everything, when we're in this state of a content step, I think we should maybe have actually fill something here that says just like foundational knowledge of the LLM or something like that, right? So it's never nothing. There's never no items, maybe.
Okay.
Because if I go chat now, I can just chat with the foundational knowledge.
Connor, you seem to know a lot about large language models for a CX recruiter.
I know I've been, in the last 27 minutes here, I've actually been doing some research in my other panel and have quickly learned a lot.
Cool.
So yeah, so from a CX perspective, if people are asking about all my world's knowledge, you can just do it like this, just remove all the content and it should work.
On the line of, it sounds like we have a lot of experts in version 1 here. Will there eventually be a way to choose different LLMs to work with?
I believe so, yeah, and I think the way we do that would be that content step. Just kind of dropping that step into the work stream would dictate which one you're chatting.
Okay.
One thing that we could do, and this gets into where do we want to go next territory, but when we're chatting, we could make it so that maybe Connor, if you can open up that chat window for a second again. So I'm chatting here. I'm having a kind of a dynamic conversation, and maybe I'm choosing here who I'm chatting with, right? So this could be that I'm using Claude or I'm using GPT-4 or something, and I'm kind of like seeing which answers I like best, and then I'm able to send that prompt into the work stream, and potentially I could send that question and answer into the work stream with a specific large language model chosen. I could say, I really want to be using OpenAI, 4.0 or whatever for this step in the work stream every time it runs. So that would be another way that we could do it. Again, I think this is an opportunity, CX, for us to start having conversations with users and understand what they would love to see.
I could also see when we do have a middle step here for chat, that's where you might select the model and the prompt, just like you select the content or the reports in the content step. But what would be cool is I could see a lot of users dragging, where's my annotate thing here, dragging this window all the way open like this. And then what would be nice is maybe having just a super quick summary of what is going on in this chat. So it's maybe just a line that says 6 pieces of content and GPT-4, right? 2 bubbles that just really summarize everything you might need to know about this chat window that's going on.
Right.
So there's maybe a box here with the number of reports, and then one here that's the model name, and that's it. It's just not even a button. It's just a visual thing describing it. Could be kind of helpful.
True.
That's sort of the
Cool idea.
presentation boxes I've ever seen. They actually look
And Ryan, you seem to be very knowledgeable about the direction this is going in. There's another thing that I'd love to be able to do as Connor's assistant, which is if I was able to ask some questions in here and then put them into the actual work stream, I could imagine that I might have one question and answer, who's the best candidate. But I might also want to ask a couple more questions. I might have 5 questions that I want to ask, not just one. And I'm wondering if there might be a way to ask those multiple questions and then have it get emailed to Connor, because then I can basically just be on a beach drinking a Mai Tai and Storytell can be doing all the work and Connor's getting an email with a bunch of answers. Is that kind of parallelizing questions sort of thing something you've been thinking about?
Yeah, definitely it is. I think just parallelizing everything here, every step in the work stream right here, being able to stack them on top of each other is definitely something that we're thinking about from an engineering and product perspective. Even for the content, you might have, can't draw boxes as well as Connor for some reason, but you might have 4 or 5 of these going into one prompt, and you might want to turn one of these on or off at a certain time or something like that. So definitely being able to stack the steps in the work stream is something that we're planning to build.
Pretty exciting.
Back to the chat here. So as you're aware, Ryan, but just to share with the crowd here, Finn Hochart, product manager at Site, in our core users channel, I got a private demo of this yesterday in our user office hours, and how chat is threaded into the workstream experience was not clear to him. And one suggestion, just going back to Connor, what you're saying around titles or something in the top of the chat here, that would make it clear what it's for. We floated as even like workstream assistant, or like how can we introduce this chat so that the purpose is clear? Does that make sense?
Yep. Yeah, agreed. I think definitely agree that there needs to be something around that. I think workstream assistant is a little bit tricky because the first thing I think of when it's workstream assistant, it's an assistant to help like build the workstream,
Right.
which might be true as a feature, but I don't think is like the core reason for having chat there, right?
Mhm.
It's more of like
Yeah.
like I think of it like this is like your sandbox environment kind of, right? Like while you're building a work stream, you can test out your prompts and chat with stuff and like get everything fine-tuned, the content you want, the messages, that kind of stuff. So I think of it like a sandbox, but that's just me.
Yeah, I think way down the line, we're planning to have the chat here be both an assistant and sandbox, where you can chat with your content and say, I actually want you to add this step to the work stream. So after the content step, add a prompt step with the question I just asked, and then it would be able to spin that up and add it for you automatically. Like I said, that's way down the line, and we don't have that infrastructure yet, but I think that'd be a really good use case.
Mhm.
Yep.
So the feedback that we have right now is we need to think about how this lives in conjunction with the work stream, and we'll start doing that work. So that's great feedback, Erica. Thank you. I've got another question about the original Smart Chat versus this work stream approach. In the original Smart Chat, I'm able to get access to my entire organization's knowledge. So actually, I'm not just an assistant for Connor. There's like 5 other people that I'm also assisting, which is why I'm so busy and so excited about using Smart Chat to automate. And so I'm just wondering, is there like that functionality where it's not just my content, but it's like all the other people as well, like the organizational level knowledge? Is that built into this, or is that coming?
That is coming. That's not built into this UI yet. And Jordio, it actually sounds like you'd be great for an enterprise account. So maybe we can have you sign up for that after this meeting, and you'd be able to share your organization's work streams and content. That'll be
Wow,
coming.
you're not just CX, you're sales too. That's impressive.
They're building followers.
Well, it's exciting to imagine having access not just to my content, but to the entire organization's content, because if we can do that, then that just like unlocks, it kind of like makes my mind explode, because then I could imagine like, what if we could do dynamic collections? So it's not that I'm making a collection, but it's that Storytel is making an auto collection of all of the Zoom calls in our company, or all of the customers that are dissatisfied, and we could drop that into this work stream and take actions on that. Like, I think it'd be really cool for a salesperson to be getting a phone call, or sorry, an email from Storytel, based on an auto collection of like all the users that are uh, using more than their allotted seats or licenses at the company, and like any conversation that anybody has about like, oh, that this user is like using more seats than they've bought, like there's a prompt that we put in here and the salesperson gets an email automatically, stuff like that. Have you thought about that kind of thing? Or
Yeah, we've thought about work streams in terms of being able to add all kinds of different steps into the flow there. So I definitely could see that being one as well. To talk a little bit more about that, we're thinking of having like a steps library or some type of marketplace where, you'll be able to add all different kinds of steps into your work stream. So it just feels like there's unlimited options with what we can put into a work stream.
and we've talked about having like 3 steps, but I'm imagining that I could have like 30 steps if I wanted to. Is that, am I thinking about that the right way? Like I could have this work stream that I build out that's like parallelized prompts and like lots of stuff going on. Is that the way you're thinking about it?
Yep, exactly.
That's cool.
One more question, like how are we going to design the odd view? So is that something similar to view and video have to switch it in between each other, or like there's like dedicated area other than the content, we have like a odd content, we can like just we don't need to switch back and forth. So we just to drag any kind of file which I have access.
Yeah, that's something I think we need to flesh out the details of a little bit more. My initial idea, Connor, if you click the arrow in the top left and then go down to your account down below, I think that's a good place for the actual organizational stuff to be happening. You know, we can show what org you're in, maybe what project you're currently viewing, something like that. And that would kind of set the scope of the UI for what you're seeing on the right side in terms of the work streams, content you have access to, all that kind of stuff. And then from a back end perspective.
Yeah, so from back end, I think it'll work similarly to V1. I think on the front end, though, one thought I just had is like, what if if we're going to have multiple content steps, what if this one is like all my org, but then I want another one that's just content from the resumes that I've uploaded to like my specific tag. So in one work stream, you might want one to be at the org level and one to be at the user level. So in that sense, it might be good to have the toggle for like org versus personal be here. Like it's basically attached to the content here.
Right.
Um,
So you're saying one work stream, but two different input sources of the
right.
content.
Like let's say you have two separate chat steps in the same work stream. One is like chat with my personal tag, and one is chat with all my org's content.
Right.
I don't know. It's like
Another way that we can think about that, Connor, is that this could be a like filter view, because my content will be a subset of the org's content, right? So if I've got 5 candidates and I make them into a collection and I call it, my 5 candidates, and I'm in org view, then they will be in there somewhere. Now they'll be in there with a lot of other stuff because it's org view, it's the whole organization's data. But I
yeah.
could potentially have a view where I filter down to just my stuff to be able to find, or I can search for the name of that collection or things like that.
Yeah.
This is
Makes sense.
an amazing conversation to be having. It's an exciting one to be having. I just
Mhm.
want to take a second to share some gratitude. It's also great to see like the system is maintaining state better, like chat lives across both steps and there's no like refreshing happening. It's just feels really snappy and elegant, and it's just incredible to see this come to life. And I would just want to say thank you to everyone for all the work around this.
Yep. Yeah, we were just chatting about it when we were prepping for the demo. It does seem much more like fluid, I think is the best word that I would use to describe it. There's less like re-rendering going on. There's lots of just, yeah, switching back and forth just kind of works.
Yeah,
Um,
nice work.
yeah, so we'll take off demo hats now, I guess. We have like 20 minutes left here.
By
We
the
can,
way,
uh,
you can drag right now. I think it's if you can refresh and drag, it should be working now.
refresh and drag.
The drag bar should be there now. Yeah.
Oh, we're doing
All
that.
right,
Dang, that's great.
live live updates.
Let people do it live.
Speaking of dragging, is it possible yet to just drag a collection up into the green box? I'm assuming not.
Yeah, I can't do that yet.
Looks like you have some ability to drag. It just won't go in there yet.
Right. The green box isn't ready to.
It's not an area where you can
Yeah.
drag stuff into yet. Okay.
Well, it would be great to just get some reactions around the room. What does everybody think about what they're seeing?
Good and bad. Like if there's anything confusing or anything, we'd love to hear that as well. It's really valuable to get the first impression reaction.
Hello.
Go ahead.
I
Ryan.
really,
Sorry.
yeah, I really like it. Gives me a better understanding of what the product is. My only question is if there are plans to like change some of the terminology. For example, in this green box, it's called an included collection. But what I can do is also include collections in the included collection. So that might make that might confuse some people. So if there are plans to like just change up what that green box actually is.
Yeah, we were kind of just talking about this morning. Like for me, at least personally, even though I know the product intimately, having these 4 separate sections, collections and content twice, is a little bit confusing. Like once you know what it is, sure, you can use it. But it might be good to find a way to consolidate some of these. Like we were looking at Drive, for example. Basically, collections are like folders, right? Folders of specific content. If we look at Drive, like one of the ways that they do it is they just have the folders and the files in the same directory here. And so as long as you use an icon and color to kind of really make it clear what's a file versus what's a piece of content, I think it's okay to include those. That's just my opinion, and that would at least consolidate, this with this. Where's my marker? These two sections and these two sections, and then you still have like all my content versus included in the work stream. But yeah, we're thinking about it,
Great
right?
call out.
Let's get it out. Let's get feedback. That's just my opinion. Let's see what users say about it.
Great. Yeah. Thank you.
Who else?
Yeah, I have. Putting my demo roleplay hat, I am the assistant of Connor's assistant. So like I also have used V1. So I'm just curious if there is some way that the Chrome extension would be integrated here as well. Because as the assistant of Connor's assistant, I help populate content and I use Chrome as extension to do that. So I'm just curious if that is part of the direction in the future.
Yeah, that's a great call out. So the reports and the summaries that you generate from the Chrome extension will show up down below in the content section of a work stream. So yeah, exactly, Connor, down there. So that's basically all the reports that you've generated from the content that you've either uploaded or seen on the Chrome extension. So like I said, if you generate one with the extension, it will show up down there, and then you can add it to a work stream.
Got it. And then in terms
Speaking
of content, yeah. And a follow-up question, I noticed earlier that when you put a content into a work stream, it vanishes or it wouldn't be in the all content part. Is that correct? Or what if I have like a specific content and I want it in multiple work streams? Is that possible?
Yes, so you're right that when it's in a work stream right here, it gets removed from the bottom section. And that's because we didn't want to show it twice on the screen. But if you make a new work stream, all your content will be there and be available to add to that work stream. So yeah, you can see that the candidate files are down there.
Can I
So
ask the, oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, it seems like that's a little bit something that's confusing so far, so we'll definitely change that. Go ahead, Jordio.
To ask the room if we were to still show it down here, but maybe we show it in green because it's included, or there's a checkbox and it's checked to show that it's included, or maybe this piece of content might be included in 5 different work streams, and I could maybe expand it and it would show me the work streams that it's included in. Is that the kind of thing that y'all are looking for? Or kind of what version of that would be most interesting to you?
For me personally, I like how it is right now. I think it's less confusing as it is right now. Like just having, not having duplicates of any uploaded content.
Okay. How about a third option where we don't even show the bottom section? All we show is the green box. And then where the upload button is, it would be like an add content. You would click that and a UI would show up that either allows you to upload new content or select from all your content. And the ones that are already in the work stream would have like a checkbox next to it to show that they're already included. So you're actually not seeing anything twice in this view. All you would see is what's in this content set.
Yeah, I think I kind of like that one. So basically, if I'm understanding you correctly, this is gone.
Yeah.
Right? There's always only ever table view makes more sense for this example to me. So there's only ever one table view. When I'm just looking at the content, it just shows me what's actually in that content step. So right now it's candidate 4. But if there was another button here for like edit content, oh, I can't spell today, edit content, and I click that, what then happens is it expands this table into this one, and it has all of my content in the table, and the ones that are already in it are like highlighted, right? They're like checked. So they look like this basically, right? So you have a big table of all your content. The ones that are already in have like a blue highlight checkbox. and ones that are out just look like this. And then you can say like done editing, and it collapses again to just the content that's selected. I like that one. The only thing is it's hard to say, if you want to answer the question, like what is all the content I have uploaded? The only way to get to that screen then would be to like go to an edit screen, which seems a little bit odd to me, right?
Yeah, I almost go to a hybrid of still having this like library below,
Mhm.
but it is checked or things are grayed out or, you know, some way to show this has been included. The disappearing act, I think is
Confusing. Yeah. So I guess, so this would have everything, including candidate 4 in it, except candidate 4 will be highlighted in the bottom one,
Totally,
right?
yeah, and then it still allows for that future drag and drop functionality, which for some reason, it seems like users really like being able to drag and drop things.
Yeah.
One other idea here is that if we just had one table and we had a included or excluded option for each, so maybe it's green when it's included, and it would just be one table, it wouldn't be two sections, but this would be, you know, not included, and you could like slide or turn on specific ones to become included. So
Mhm.
I'm almost hearing people say that they might rather not have a separate table. So that would be another potential approach.
Mhm.
And I think another thing to add is what Kevin said in the chat, which is changing all content to other content, and that kind of makes it a little bit clear what's not currently
Yep.
in this content step.
Yep.
Good call, Kevin.
Well, there's lots of iteration that we can do, and the best thing that we can do is get great at iterating. And imagine if we had a version that we could feature flag where we have two different approaches that we're taking, and then we're just watching which one users are actually using more. You know, when we think about what great looks like, it's that we're actually able to use data, and we have enough scale now where we, you know, may be able to get some good data back from taking two different approaches and testing them and things like that. So I could imagine in, you know, let's call it a couple months or sometime this year, we're just able to try 2 or 3 or 5 different ways and see what works best.
Yeah, I think once we have a new hypothesis of one we want to test, we can definitely do that. We can feature flag it. And what we can even do to start is just feature flag it to like a few of our own personal accounts so that during a demo, if someone says, oh, I don't like how this all looks, you can maybe log into a different account and we know that that account has the other view. And then it's very easy to be like, what about this one? Right. Or you could even toggle it here, I guess, in the UI or something. But just an easy way for CX to like on the spot show it and not have to draw it out with a marker like on their screen.
You might also consider some A/B testing, where upon loading the page, it'll load either one way or the other way, and then we can kind of get a graph of what users end up like using or how far they get in the UI, depending on which form of the site they're using.
Yeah, that's something we basically get for free. Like we could fully feature flag it to like whatever 10% of users get the new view. We look at, you know, whatever chat volume per the two different groups, something like that. 100% a possibility too. We just need the time to then to do the actual A/B test analysis and stuff like that.
Yeah. I'll throw the results into Storytell and have it tell you which is better.
That's true.
Yeah, one thing
So-
awesome about this demo, I mean, many things, just understanding how this all fits together better. But also, what are the kinds of questions, you know, CX can be asking users as we start demoing this to get feedback.
Yeah.
So I just want to tie this incredible demo to two things about our vision, mission, and strategy really quickly. Connor, can you try clicking on that chat that I just put? And what you're about to see is a screenshot of a Figma file. Can you just zoom in? Now, Erica and Flavio are working to change the actual look and feel of this. So it's not going to look like this, but functionality wise, imagine that we have a landing page that is for a certain persona, like a content creator. And that landing page has a work stream here where all the person has to do is drop in a file. They don't have to figure out prompts. They don't have to do anything other than drop in a file to run the work stream. And when we talk about being able to get to magical moments quickly, If I'm a content person and I'm like, oh, I want to make my meetings profitable, and I can just drag in a Zoom recording and then it just runs and I just get a magical result back, that starts to get towards the kind of thing that we're talking about on this page, on our Storytell Vision page. So click on that, where we talk about how our mission is to transform AI tooling into better outcomes for knowledge workers. So there's these AI tools, but if I can just be like drop it in one file and then I get a result and I don't have to know how to prompt and use all these things, then I'm like, oh wow, this is pretty cool. I want to invest a little bit more in this and figure out how to use it for more things that I do, more jobs that I have to get done every day. So it's this is the beginning of us being able to say to different personas, just go back to the demo real fast, Connor, like John, the patent attorney. If we imagine we had a work stream, which is like all the patents that already exist, then there's another step, which is like drop in the patent that you want to make. And then we've got some pre-formulated prompts here that we've created, which is like check this against all the patents that exist and see if it's already been patented, and then share the result. And this is a reference work stream that we create, and all a patent attorney has to do is drop in their the thing that they want to patent here, and then they can get a result. That starts to get into being able to have a magical moment within the first like 30 seconds as a new user. So those are the kinds of things directionally that we're starting to unlock with this, which is really, really has a lot of potential.
Amazing. Okay, we have 7 minutes.
Mark has a question.
Oh, Mark, go ahead.
Mark, yes. So you'd have to
Okay.
create a work stream and then upload either in the green box or outside right now.
Okay.
And
Okay.
Ryan,
Got
let's
it.
differentiate between right now version 2.0 versus the first time user experience that is coming, because the answer will be different. So do you want to explain that?
Yeah, sure. So in a future iteration, actually the one that we're shipping next, the onboarding experience will be a chat experience, and you'll be able to upload content from there. So every time you create a new work stream, you'll have the ability to just add content right there. Similar to this, but it'll just look a little bit different. So you won't have to actually spin up that work stream first and then add content. It'll just all kind of be in one flow. Mark, to answer your question, what I think you're getting at is there some other way in the UI to add content without being in a work stream? And the answer right now is no.
I just
Got
want to
it.
also
Thanks for
read between the
clarifying.
lines. Mark, what I think I'm hearing you say is, as a CX person, do I need to go educate the user about a work stream before they can start to get value from Storytell? I think that maybe is what I'm hearing you say. Or to put it another way, if I'm not on a call with them and they're just using the product and they're new to it, do they need to like go through the admin work of creating a work stream before they can start to just get immediate value from it? The answer today in version 2.0 is unfortunately yes. That's the way that we've built it to get it out. But our goal is that a new user doesn't even need to know what a work stream is. They don't need to be educated about it. They don't even need to know what the word is. They're literally going to just start with a chat experience, upload a file, start chatting. Now, in the background, it'll create a work stream for them, but they don't even need to understand the concept of a work stream to start getting value from Storytell. Does that help?
Got it. Got it. Yeah, that helps. Thanks for the clarity.
Okay, I think last thing I have to say is I know we hit pause on the like ticket bug creation stuff the last couple days just until this was out. I would say let's go ahead and resume that now. So please test it, play with it, give it to core users, things like that.
Disneyland is back open.
Disneyland is back open. The rides are fixed. Hopefully, let us know if anyone dies on a ride or anything like that.
Work stream. Yeah, Kevin, I see you saying, send me the bugs. We actually felt some bugs yesterday.
Great. Send them in the channel. Yeah, Kevin, if you could ticket them. I think the emoji thing is working again. Is that right? To get tickets auto created in Notion, doesn't know.
Not sure, but I can give it a shot. Yeah, if we're good for testing again, I can start doing a full regression test on what we currently have and from the test I've developed.
Yeah, that would be great. And then we on the Edge side can start prioritizing and throwing each of those tickets into like bugs for 2.0 or features for 2.1, whatever it may be. Yeah.
Lex, can you make sure that you work with Kevin to get not only the emojis working, but we talked about having a P0, P1, P2, P3 bug ticketing emoji so that when we're filing bugs, we can specify the severity. And I don't know if that's working yet. I don't know, Lex, if you have an update on that.
Not yet, but yeah, I can start working on it right away. I'll just duplicate the one for triage.
And if it helps, there is a field in our tickets already for urgency that goes,
Yep.
I think it's P0 through P4, which aligns with our urgency. So yeah, it's just a
So it'd
matter.
be great to have that auto populate when a user chooses a P level bug. That would be great.
Yep. Okay, any last comments, questions?
Yeah, I do. Can I share my screen?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. I was wondering if there's a way to remove or delete uploaded content. Because as you can see here, these were files I tried uploading during on the staging version, and they say error while processing, but they actually show up fine on the original V1 Storytell.
That's interesting. Can you click one of those on V1?
Yeah, they all just say, yeah, it was just a sample file that says text, so users content, yeah. So that's working fine, but yeah, they still show up as error while processing over on V2.
Yeah,
I'm hearing two things. I'm hearing there's a potential bug about it showing up in V1 and showing an error in V2, and then I'm hearing you ask for a feature mark to be able to delete content.
Yeah, if there's a way to delete content, that would be nice. And I just want to know what's happening here. So if ever a user is experiencing something like this, I know how to explain it.
Right, yeah, so there's not currently a way to delete, so we're working on that.
Mhm.
And yeah, we'll also look into the error thing. Seems a little icky.
Did you file a bug, Mark, for that?
Oh, not yet, because I just noticed it while playing around with
Cool.
this now.
Well,
And
last question from me, crew. Are we comfortable sharing this entire video with the world? Is there anything in here that we wouldn't want to put out onto our knowledge base?
I don't think so. No, there's no code shown, or no sensitive code, I should say.
Cool.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Well, I've got a lot of people I'd like to get this out to as quickly as possible. So maybe we just make a plan here to prioritize once this Zoom recording is done. Do we think we can get this out in the next couple of hours? What's a kind of a reasonable expectation and ownership around that?